Well, this is Dan Preece, your host at Art Giving Hope. I'm back. Took a break there for a few months. Uh, I don't know how much about my personal life you care about, but just been going through a lot of good stuff actually. Um, we finished my office. I'm a foot and ankle surgeon in Salt Lake City, and we finished my office. Added 3 new rooms for our new partner Christian Smith to join us and grow his practice. We added 3 rooms downstairs, which includes space for a miniature MRI, which we can do scanning of the foot and ankle and arms from the elbows down and knees down, which is really unusual for a practice to be able to have. So we're super excited about that. I've got 7 partners in my group that have invested in that, so we've all put it together, and that's been great. So that's been keeping me super busy. And then just life. I've got several teenagers that now my kids are getting older and they need a lot of time and energy. And sometimes some of this charity stuff and artwork falls to the wayside. I have been getting more and more interested in carving and wood turning. This project includes both. I turned it to gather the initial shape, to create the initial shape of the item, and then I carved the rest with power tools and that. Let's Resin is one of my current resins, my only current resin sponsor, and they provided the resin for this project, both not only for the body of the project, which I carved up, but the finish. I use one of their tabletop resins. It's a quick set table coating resin, which is just fantastic for making a glossy, clear finish. I used to use different oils. Teak oils are my favorite for a long time, but I didn't quite get the glossy finish I wanted, and sometimes there were some issues with that. So I've been very happy with the finish, and for Let's Resin support. These projects, when you're done pouring them, they're big, they're heavy. I've tried to convey that before, and I'm usually making them about this size. I could go a little bit bigger and still fit it on my lathe, but this is about as big as you want to go. They are big. This one was 41 pounds. That thing starts whipping around on the lathe. It's not. It's something to behold and dangerous, right? So I've learned from people how to take as many precautions as possible. Thankfully, I've never had any injuries, but these Laguna lathes, I got the 1836. It's a beast, very heavy lathe and very well built, and so it handles this without any problems as long as I can get it reasonably centered. Kind of a funny story on this wood. I was at work one day, and my staff ordered lunch, and somehow my order got missed, or they didn't pick it up or something, and so in a huff I drove off to get my own food and noticed this dude cutting down a tree very near my office, and they had a big stack of wood, and I noticed how cool it was, kind of rotten in the middle but in a pattern. And since I like to do resin, I thought that would be a really cool bowl of some kind, or carving, and so I got several pieces like this. And I was at about this stage right here where I thought I should stop. This is such a cool looking thing. It'd make just a wonderful bowl. But I had started off with this in mind, and I wanted to have lots of holes in it so that the fingers of the fingers of flame, the tongues of the flame would come in and out of resin and wood. So I needed a really holy massacred piece of wood. So it actually worked out really well. But I've got a big chunk of this that I probably will just turn into a bowl, because it's just so neat, and the wood itself speaks for itself. The grain and the way Mother Nature curled around. I think the tree must have rotted in the middle, but the tree didn't die. But you'll have to look at it. It's just a really unique wood structure and pattern. When I poured this one, my biggest fear was that the resin would overheat. This is deep pouring resin. This is their Let's Resin's version of a deep pouring resin. You can do up to 3 to 4 inches, but with any resin, and I found this with any resin, that's 3 to 4 inches in any direction. And this thing was probably 12, 15 inches tall at the most. And so that's a whole lot more resin than that. And the core of it was pretty rotted out and empty. So that's a lot of resin, and it's going to overheat. And then when it overheats, it boils and cracks. And that was one of my biggest fears, that it just ruin it. It was the middle of winter when I poured this one. I've been working on this one for the last 3 months. And my garage shop is quite cold, so I wasn't too worried about it, but I did stick a fan blowing on it. And I didn't put it in the vacuum chamber for the same reason. I wanted to keep an eye on it, nor the vacuum. But I kind of am sad that I didn't put it at least in the vacuum, because I could have. I had there a little more bubbles in it than I wanted, but honestly, it's been so long I can't remember my entire reasoning. But if I were to go back and do it again, I'd stick it in the pressure pot and the vacuum chamber to get rid of all the bubbles possible. I usually do that when I'm doing a clear project, and the bubbles really matter. But I hadn't done a solid color in a while, and so I kind of had lost my touch. But anyway, next time. It was fine. There's no big bubbles, but I did get one big crack in it because of the overheating, and that's a tough one to overcome. I decided to hollow this one out, um, using my Forstner bits, mainly because I knew I was going to be hollowing it out for the most part. I just wanted the walls. I was doing the whole idea was this swirling, flaming thing, and this just saved me a ton of time carving, so I didn't have to worry about manually or using power tools carving this out. And so I'm glad I had that epiphany as I was working along. I have to be careful and give full credit to Jennifer McCurdy. You can see her work at jennifermccurdy.com. That's Jennifer MCCURDY. She has, I believe it's ceramics she does. It's incredible stuff. And I kept seeing it online. My last piece was inspired by it, and I wasn't super happy with the outcomes for that one. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't what I was going for. And so I wanted to take another swing at it. And I don't know if this is out of my system yet, because it's just such a cool idea. But I got it from her. I emailed her, and she gave me permission to draw inspiration from it, as long as I gave her credit. And yeah, great stuff. I like to pride myself on being original, and only doing something that came out of my brain, but I don't think it's possible to be totally original. You know what I mean? You always see something in nature or in the world or created by somebody else that inspires you, and you build on that deep down, whether you like it or not. You've drawn from that, whether you recognize it or not. And whenever I know I'm drawing from somebody, I certainly want to give credit. As you know, my channel used to be solely dedicated to raising money to help fight child trafficking. And I still believe that's an important endeavor. I've We changed directions this year. We went from art for OUR to art giving hope. A lot of reasons there. Operation Underground Railroad is in some deep water, some deep trouble with different things, and that was part of our decision to change. But the other reason is I'm a foot and ankle surgeon by trade, and a lot of what comes to me are diabetic complications. I'll be on call at the major hospitals in the Salt Lake area, and inevitably it'll be toe amputations and foot amputations and legs that we can't save, and wound care and everything in between. When an infection gets out of control, the only thing that'll reverse it is surgical intervention plus heavy antibiotics if we're lucky. Well, here in Utah, we have a big Tongan and Samoan population. A lot of people have immigrated from there to here over the years. So a lot of times the people I'm treating are of Polynesian descent, Polynesian families, which are just amazing people, great, awesome people. And this group, called Amanaki, you can go to their website. It's hopefordiabetes.com. They have been doing medical missions to the Polynesian islands. And the problem with in the Polynesian islands is they have several things going on. They've gone from subsistence farming and lots of manual labor to access to easy calories. The westernization of their countries has happened. So they've stopped they don't have the need to do a lot of manual labor to grow their own food. They genetically have a huge predisposition to hold on to calories, which leads to obesity and diabetes. And their culture is such a generous, loving culture. They show each other love and appreciation by giving food, and they make tons of food. If you've ever been to a luau, it's the same idea. It's just the more the merrier, right? So you put all this together, plus they're an emerging country, very poor. Their medical system is very simple. They don't have a lot of resources. You put all that together, and you get lots and lots of unneeded diabetic complications, amputations, and whatnot. So this group, Amanaki, they've been going there for years, I think about 10 years now, and trying to provide medical services, lots of education, trying to educate the people on what diabetes is and how it can be prevented, helping them do raised farm, garden boxes, as well as taking surgeons there who know limb salvage like myself, and have been providing lots of free medical care and trying to get providers on island, in the country, so that they have better access to what they need. So that appealed to me because that's what I do. That's my specialty. And I've got a bunch of partners who are excited about it and want to get involved as well. So we've been meeting with them. And myself and Dr. Shelton will be going to, that's Scott Shelton, will be going to Tonga this summer for 2 weeks to participate in this. I kind of threw it out there on Facebook and YouTube that this is where we were going this year for our charitable work. And I was shocked at how many old classmates and colleagues and people who are in my world reached out to me without me really even asking and saying they wanted to get involved too. And I bet you I've got 10 to 15 people who are considering going on missions as well, these medical missions. So we're going to expand, if possible, the Amanaki approach to get to multiple countries, multiple places, Fiji, American Samoa. The First Nation folks, the native Indian folks up in Canada have reached out. They have a very similar problem. So I'm excited to be part of this and to be able to use my professional skills. It's kind of cool to be able to merge everything in my life, whether it's my artistic endeavors and my creative side with my professional, to raise money, to go on these missions, to use my artistic side to fund these missions. I'm just excited about the whole thing. So if you go to Art Giving Hope, that's my website, my group, you'll find a whole bunch of artists who donated stuff, different types of artwork. There's a link to an Amazon store where if you click on there and go and enter Amazon, you can do any purchases you want there, doesn't matter. But we do get a percentage of that, and 100% of what we raise is donated for these missions. You can buy stuff there. You can sell stuff there. I'd love to take on donated artwork. I display some of it in my office. Others we ask people to just hold on to until somebody buys it. But spread the word. If you're diabetic, if you know anyone who's diabetic and who's dealt with this disease, it's a disease that leaves no system in the body untouched. In the foot and ankle, which I deal with, it creates neuropathy, numbness, and painful or numb nerve issues. It can be anything on that spectrum. And the process is pretty simple. If you can't feel your feet, you'll get a wound. If you get a wound, that's very likely to get infected. And if you have diabetes, your immune system just doesn't fight infection very well. And to make matters worse, the vascular system is compromised. It becomes very calcified, so you can't get blood down there. So it's like this trifecta of things are happening, and you can't naturally fight it like you'd like to, and you end up with infections deep in bones, and the only thing we can do at that point a lot of times is to amputate. So it's a horrible disease, and if you are involved in it, if you know anyone who is, we are trying to provide services in these Polynesian countries and First Nation groups. So I'd love your donations. If you go to Art Giving Hope, there's a donation button you can click on. If you become a subscriber to this channel, watch the videos, and become a member of the channel, all the money raised goes to these guys. I don't keep a penny. This is, for me, a merger of hobbies and charity, and it's just fun for me. I love it. So this specific piece, if you go to our website and click on the current auction button, will be auctioned off until the end of the month, and maybe more if it doesn't get purchased. It'll be on display in my office as well, and you can buy it, and all the money raised goes to fighting diabetes in the Polynesian countries. So that's what this is all about. Big change from what we used to do. I'm all about helping those who need help and cannot help themselves, and I'm excited to be able to provide this service along with a lot of my partners and colleagues. I'm going to leave you to it here. If you have any questions or concerns, you can reach out to me. Our contact information is on our website, and would love to get in touch with you. Come join our Facebook group. Any announcements about our trips, artwork, donated projects, and activities we have will definitely be listed on that Facebook group, as well as on this YouTube channel. So come join us, help us out. If you got skin in the game with diabetes, we'd love to partner with you in any way that we can. Final note, you'll notice the Troomi logo, Troomi. They're another partner we've got, and every time you buy one of their smartphones for kids, which helps kids be safe online, I think it's $50 gets donated to these medical missions. So pick one of those up. My kids have them. They love them. It's great. Much better than other competitors we've had like Gab. So take a look. You guys have a great one. I'll see you on the flip side.